fact, I heard it said last night, there was no conspiracy to get you, but in fact, if you keep listening to that talk, you keep falling for that, then I can guarantee you your ass is gone. Now, I always tried to give a presentation that was slightly different than that which we hear. For there is a lot of chest beating in our community. There is a lot of symbolism wearing in our community. But in reality, I can tell you, I know the vital signs of white supremacy, we are failing our responsibility. If we are the direct descendants of God Almighty, then we have a mission and a responsibility, and base in whole, we are failing our job. No matter how good we feel about how we look, no matter how good we feel about what we can talk to each other, no matter how many African kings you understand, your butt is in trouble right now. And I'm the right now brother. Now, today, if you saw the evening news, and I had the pleasure of just a few minutes to get to watch the news, the first story was that they had a mass pickup of black youth. And in this mass pickup of black youth, they went to many cities. They flew into Los Angeles, policemen or agents, to go in and bust in on the young brothers and sisters. And across this country, and I can tell you how many cities they said it was, that they busted in on the youth because they call them gangbangers and drug dealers, etc., etc., etc. Well, I don't know. George Bush is a drug dealer. I never seen nobody bust in the White House. Colin Hall used cocaine. I didn't see nobody put it in jail. The governor of Illinois' wife was a drug addict. Ford's wife was a drug addict. Nixon's wife was a drug addict. But I swear to God, they will never bust in on their places. In fact, they said that today they had 200 people were picked up in 9 different states called Operation Street Sweep.
I don't think you can even read this.
Flew in agents from Washington, D.C. Second story was that in Detroit, there was a little riot last night over the basketball game. And black people who probably had frustrations with things far beyond basketball, 8 people got killed and 20 people got injured last night after the basketball game. And they busted windows, they burned cars, they did a lot of things don't look like celebration. And I've been in Detroit
we're going to listen to Baba Steve
for
a minute.
Mad about.
Till a few more people get in and we're going to get started.
In this climate,
peace, Radical.
And I swear to God, I watched y'all last night. Brother said he didn't want to see you all allow those little young rappers come in your community and talk all that sex stuff. In fact, called the rappers a violation of black women. But I don't know where that brother been because all rappers ain't into sex talk. But I watch you all let him say that and nobody said a word. I watch you all let this man stand here in front of you and say he's tired of nationalists saying that there's a conspiracy. All this old age thing, what y'all gonna do? And then went on to give you a bunch of black talk. I want you all to give me the name of one white man you heard last night who was doing it to you. Now, I'll give you a second. It ain't gonna take but a second, because in case you don't know, it wasn't no names. Someone sat up here for an hour and 15, 20 minutes and talked to you about black people and what you ain't gonna do and what you ain't, and didn't name one name of one white man.
Not one.
Now, if you got a problem and somebody keep telling you what it is, how come can't nobody pin the tail on that donkey? You know why they don't? You know what the problem is? Because you get in trouble for naming the names of the white supremacists. So how do you talk to black people in general, make them feel good, get the money, leave town, and look heavy? Well, one is you have a group of people that don't know no better.
Peace, Dr. Pilon. Peace.
I might not know no better.
Peace, God. What's going on?
I really wanted to jump last night. I told brother, I said, I wasn't going to jump him and spoil the show. But we are enforcing discipline in the black community. And this brother must be disciplined. And I'm going to speak on it. In fact, I'm going to dedicate my little message as a special message to Maulana Kareem. All right.
Listen up.
Well, you want the truth? You want the truth? Well, right now, they've decided that they want to kill you, and they must start with the youth. Because all over the world, it is only the youth that are violent and responsible for bringing on revolution. There are no old geezers like yourselves, revolutionaries in most nations in the world, black or white. In case you don't know, it is the youth, the one without the bind, you know, without the cardinal, without the house note, without the clothes note. You know what I mean? So, by listening very carefully, I heard it safe to make an attack on the voice of the youth, which is the rap. You all saw Geraldo Rivera today. You saw the brother from 2 Live Crew on there under attack. And the brother may have made some mistakes. But the record he made was 2 years ago. And it's still reverberating 2 years later, and they went out and arrested this black man for supposedly pornography. Now, come on, y'all. You can walk to the newsstand and pick up a hustler that's far more aggressive than 2 Live Crew. But you do know what the difference is, don't you? Now, if they're going to get these youth, they're going to have to get them, and you're going to have to let them have them. And how you set them up is to accuse them of something that they're not guilty of, like what I heard here last night. Because I don't know about that, brother, but I looked at the youth very carefully. They have their own hairstyle. They have their own language. They have their own music. And they have their own money. They have their own money.
Yes, sir.
I bet you I can get 10 youth that got more money than any black people in Columbus, Ohio put together.
Check
10
that out.
black youth selling 500, 600, a million
Finna start in a
copies of
few.
an album.
Just warming up.
And you know what? They're ready to get out. I don't know about y'all, but they're ready to get out. And
You know, black
tired of
folk
being
don't start
pushed
on
to the
time,
wall,
fam.
And they're tired of waiting on you.
You know how we do.
Because the reason they went for themselves was that nobody was going for them. They got left.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, many times I go
We gonna
places,
start on time.
They read the stats. I heard sister read the stats last night. She didn't read this one, which was good. 25% of our youth are in jail or on probation. Oh, ain't we sick? You know how they do it? That was put out there by the Rand Corporation. Name me somebody on the board of directors of the Rand Corporation.
Name somebody.
But I bet you 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, in every city repeat the study that they had coming about 25% of our youth. But imagine, we in a hostile environment of a beast, and 75% of our youth ain't in that system.
That's right.
Could you imagine? 75% of our youth have escaped the criminal justice system. Now, which is greater, 75 or 25?
It's all about perspective.
But they're setting them up. And you're going to let them have them. You're going to let them take your own children from you. Because you don't understand them, couldn't manage them, and can't keep up with them. You all, most of you, are probably in the breakaway culture. Meaning that your parents probably were not into the culture, such that you broke away and now you are starting culture. Which means then you raise your children in the culture. That's a transition. But there are many adults, and there are some, who started in the culture, who now have children our age who are still in the culture. Which means culture is a recent development in the black community in terms of becoming a lifestyle. There were always a few, but it ain't never moved like it's moving now. But it has an illusion to the movement of the culture. That's it. If you wear the black, you talk to black, you pretty black. That's not so. So if you want to know the truth, we're going to talk a little bit about it right here this morning.
Peace. Peace, fam. We're going to get started, man. We call this meeting today because today's the birthday of Brother Steve Cokely. Now, if you don't know who Steve Cokely is, I suggest you go on YouTube and start doing some damn video watching because he's all over the place. All right? In this time of suspect, let me put it, suspect leadership, all right? Phony leadership, all right? People that talk a lot, signify nothing, explain nothing, have no enemies, you know what I'm saying? Have no solutions, just like to talk and explain shit as it is. No futurism, no thinking about what's going on in the future, no concept of what, no concept of what's going on in the immediate past. All they past they talk about is 300, 400, 500 years ago, all right? Or they're stuck in the pipe dream of Pan-Africanism today, which does not exist. There's no country called Pan-Africa that you can go to, unfortunately for y'all. You have to be in the land that you're in. All right. So this brother Steve Cokely, I met him. Well, let's talk about Steve Coakley. Steve Coakley was was actually out of Chicago. I don't know if he was born in Chicago. He was out of Chicago, and he was an aide to the mayor of one of the mayors of Chicago. He helped Harold Washington, and he also helped Eugene Sawyer. So Steve Coakley would also do these events. He would have like an anti-Columbus Day in Chicago. He would teach at Savior's Day, during Savior's Day in the Nation of Islam, teaching about compulsory education as mandatory strangulation. Will there be niggers in the year 2000? He was doing wild stuff like that back in the 80, 86, 87, 88, 89. All right. So while he was working for the city, he did these things. Peace. Pull up. While he was working for the city, he did these things. Now, in the midst of during his work in City Hall in Chicago in around 1989, the Jewish community got wind. I don't know. He must have did a lecture at Savior's Day maybe a year or two before that the Jewish community, quote unquote, the ADL got a hold of, and they put his name on a list of people that black folks should not associate with, and they gave this list to the mayor of Chicago, who at the time I believe was Eugene Sawyer. All right, so Eugene Sawyer, Steve said it was like 10 names on the list, and then none of them he could do nothing about, other than Steve Coakley, who actually worked for him. Everybody else was just like the ministers, stuff like that. Like Eugene Sawyer had no effect on their lives directly like that. So they would be pressuring the mayor of Chicago to give this Steve up, because he said he wrote an article where he read an article to the crowd about, that said Jewish doctors were injecting children with AIDS. Now, the whole AIDS thing, that is another story that, you know, as doctor, I can get into and break that shit down, but we're not here for that. Suffice to say, they took umbrage that he mentioned Jewish people, but the fact they never actually caught on to was that Steve was reading an article. He was not quoting anything. All right? So, with all this firestorm, eventually what happened is the mayor of Chicago acquiesced and fired. So he wanted Steve to just take a few days off, take a leave of absence, and come back after everything died down. I don't think Steve wanted to do that. And ultimately, the mayor had to let him go. Now, when the mayor let Steve go, it was a big to-do on the media. He was in Newsweek, seeing like all the big media during 1989. They were covering this, all right? Because they want to whip you in public. See? They want to humiliate you, shame you, and whip you in public. That's what they want to do to him. They want to humiliate it, shame him, whip him in public, and make him cow down. That way he scared everybody else off the trail. That's what happened. Right now, unfortunately for them, and thankfully for us, the brother did not quit. He got even harder and stronger and fiercer. All right? So, I want to take this day, June 17th, which is the birthday of Steve Coakley, to just take a moment, that we should take a moment and reflect. You know what I'm saying? If we have something positive to say about your experience with Steve Coakley, I want y'all to add on that. If you want to ask questions about Baba Steve, you can add on that. All right? I'm going to do a promotion on my site where I have this tape I was just listening to is called A Special Message to Mr. K. It's going to be on my website, 25000yearcycle.org. You can download it for free. It's 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. In this tape in Columbus, Ohio, he will explain, he comes to tell the people that there is a conspiracy to say that there's no conspiracy. And he was referencing to Maulana Karenga coming on before them and telling them there wasn't no conspiracy, ain't nobody out to get you, blah, blah, blah. All right. So this lecture, A Special Message to Dr. K, which is free on 25000yearcycle.org for now, for the next few days. You can download it immediately and listen to it yourself. That is a fire fire, bro. That lecture is fire. That's like one of the best he ever did, and it's short, so everybody can get into it, absorb it, understand it, know what's going on. Now, when I think about a brother like Steve Cokely, I think about how I was introduced to Steve Cokely. Being in New York, I was in the FOI in the 1980s, late 80s and 90s in New York City. And in New York City, we also had, on Wednesday night, there was a meeting at a place called the Slave Theater. Now, the Slave Theater was a meeting that was started by the United African Movement. The United African Movement at that time was Reverend Sharpton, Alton Maddox, and I believe C. Vernon Mason was still with him back then. But every week they would have a meeting at the Slave Theater around Bedford Avenue and Fulton Street, world famous Slave Theater, and they would invite speakers, Dr. Africa, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, everybody in New York came through for sure. All right, but then people from out of state would come through. Tony Martin came through, and Steve Cokely came through. That should have been 1990-91. Now check it out. So I guess must have been around 1990 or 91 when Steve first came to New York City. Now I wasn't there because, understand, Wednesday night for FOI, that's a study group night. And our study group was actually down the block, I believe, at the Fort Greene Senior Citizens, and right on Fulton Street, but down the block. All right. Now the Slave was actually on Fulton Street too, but it was about 6 blocks further down near Bedford Avenue. So it was hard to go to our study class meeting and make it to the Slave Theater. The only problem was that everything was going on at the Slave Theater at that time. So that was really the spot to be. If you want to hustle, you want to sell books, you want to sell final calls, whatever you wanted to do, you had to go there on Wednesday night and get your hustle on. Or just sit down and enjoy the vibe, because it's like most positive vibe. Juice bar right outside. Brothers had the juice machine, rap. Brothers had the videos, brothers had the books. Right outside the Slave Theater every Wednesday night. It was like a little bazaar out there that you could participate in. Okay. Now, the first time he came, I missed it. But my partner, the great guy, great life, he had gone to that night. And when he came back, he said, bro, you can't believe what I seen, bro. I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life, bro. He said Steve was up there teaching. He had all these papers, all this evidence, blah, blah, blah. He was throwing it all over the goddamn place, you know. So, you know, I'm fascinated. So the next time he came, who was there? You know, I was up in that piece. All right. And so that was the beginning of my really understanding how this world works. All right. As a religious person, as a Muslim, you have a concept of God, the devil, righteousness. Even I'm talking even falls under like how we have another concept of things. But the the everyday workings of things outside of certain patterns was never really explained. So when I met Baba Steve, he explained how the world worked. All right. How does the devil stay? How did Cracker stay in control of everything? And let's just say we outnumber him 11-1. So how is he still in control? Easy. He has organizational mechanisms he used to maintain power over you. Okay? So, in explaining that to us, what did he say? He said, look, brother, you got this, you got that organization, you got the Trilateral Commission, you got the Bilderberg Group, you got the G7, you got Council of Foreign Relations, you got World Economic, well, they weren't even, World Economic Forum was around. You got the Paris Club, you got the Club of Rome, all right? You got all these different entities that operate, these other think tanks, Brookings, that operate together to form a policy, to form an ideology, to form a network whereas they're able to execute their goals. All right? Because if you're going to run the world, you got to have a world running school. All right? So if you're going to take over the world, then what school you going to learn to take over the world, fam? All right? There's got to be a plan here. We ain't just taking over the world willy-nilly. We have to study this thing. So if you're going to run the world, you have to have a network. You got to have owners. You got operators. You know what I'm saying? You got facilitators. You got people to just look the other way. All right? So some of them help you, but some of them help us. Peace, God. Jamel, peace. Yeah, but that's what's going on. So within, in other words, he talked about the circles within the circles. Now, if you understand the Bible, Ezekiel's vision was the wheel was a circle within a circle, right? But he's talking about you have a circle within a circle within a circle, a whole series of organizations and oaths and goals and minions set up to stop your rise and to maintain this power structure. Well, how the fuck you do that? So here we go. I was going to do one thing, but anybody want to say something about Steve Koki, just hit the button and chime on in, and I'll let you come in. But I'm going to show you what he showed me. All right? So, first thing you got to understand is that everybody talking about the shadow government and things like that. Is there a shadow government? Is there a shadow government? Well, let's look at the books. See this book here? It's called The Powers That Be. Oh, this one. Oh, this is the Invisible Government. All right? This is the Invisible Government. This startling and disturbing book is the first full, authentic account of America's intelligence and espionage apparatus, an invisible government with the CIA at its center that conducts the clandestine policies of the United States of America. Not totally accurate, but it's a good geek. All right, this book was written by David Wise. This book was written in. I'm gonna show you a few books, so just stay on point. This book was written in 1964. Powers That Be. Now I think before that, my man here was writing books. Ferdinand Lundberg. He wrote The Rich and the Super Rich. You need to read that book. The Rich and the Super Rich. But he also wrote The Rockefeller Syndrome. The Rockefeller Syndrome. Explaining the power of the Rockefeller family and how they were using that power to control events. You know, they gave you the American Medical Association, right? You know, they gave you medical schools. Rockefeller family, all right, out of University of Chicago. It was running all that stuff. So there's another book for you. This one is written by David Halberstam, very renowned writer. Peace, God. Rahman. The Powers That Be. David Halberstam. Halberstam. The Powers That Be. Within the kingdom of the media, how Lucis Time, Paley CBS, Graham's Post, and Chandler's Los Angeles Times became rich and powerful and changed forever the shape of politics and society through the media. Excuse me. That's called The Powers That Be. David Halberstam. Check that one out. Now, trilateral commissions, trilaterals. This is the agreement between Europe, North America, and Japan or Asia on how they were going to split up the world and maintain power. That was this group. This was started by David Rockefeller too, the Trilateral Commission. Look them up. Right. Now, in 1985, there was a book that came out that explained a lot of this stuff. Peace, God. Peace, fam. And showed you what was going on. This book right here. The Unseen Hand by Ralph Epperson. It's called An Introduction to the Conspiratorial View of History. Now, conspiracy. All right. If you've been to court, you know conspiracy is a very, very prosecuted crime. What was going on? Ferdinand Lundberg. I'm sorry, I couldn't read that, guy. Let me see something, bro. I can't even read what you're saying, man. I'm sorry. Ferdinand Lundberg wrote America's 60 Families, right? Yes, I got that book too. America's 60 Families. I got that. And The Rich and the Super Rich. That's my dude. Great books. Easy to read. They're easy to read too. That's the best benefit about them. They're easy to read. All right? And don't forget, The Unseen Hand. Read this book. Good book. Because this is the one that shows you that there's two types of histories in this world. There's two ways to look at history. It's the accidental theory of history. All this shit happens by happenstance. And the conspiratorial view of history, whereas people come together, plan, develop means of actions, and execute plans. Now, we know the answer to that. You know the difference, right? The conspiratorial view of history. To conspire just means to breathe together. There ain't nothing fancy about it. Conspiracy is a fact. It's not a fiction. It's not a theory. I mean, you can have a theory of a certain conspiracy, but conspiracies are real. They're not fictional. All right? What is the Republican Party but a conspiracy amongst Republicans to take charge or take control of America, the United States of America? The same thing on the Democratic side. That's what a political party is for. They have come together and agreed in secret, because they didn't invite your ass or ask you what you thought about it. They come together in secret and decided what they was going to do to maintain power. And that's why you got these idiots running over you right now. All right? Now, with that book, that unseen hand is going to lead you right to here. The Secrets of the Federal Reserve by my man Eustace Mullins. Bro, get this book. Or you can just get The Creatures from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. That's another powerful book. Get that. All right? But in these books, it's showing you the network. It's showing you how they maintain power, how they seize power. Oh, shit, I ain't got Tragedy and Hope. Carol Quigley wrote the book Tragedy and Hope. A History of the World in Our Time. He takes it back to the 1800s and moves it forward. And this is a thin-page book. It's called Tragedy and Hope by Carol Quigley. Carol Quigley was the teacher of who? President Bill Clinton. I believe he taught, I can't remember where he taught at right now, but he taught Bill Clinton. All right? Your Rhodes Scholar president. Now, since all this shit is going on in the Middle East, now listen to me. This is all Coakley University, fam. I'm just letting you know. It's where all this shit come from, Coakley University. Now, with all the stuff going on in the Middle East right now, this continued farce of war, it's not a war in the Middle East. It's just ethnic cleansing. It's been like that since they got there as citrus growers in the late 1800s. All right? So those Europeans got there as quote-unquote citrus growers, orange growers in the late 1800s into Palestine. Their goal was to take that over. And they've always been able to find Arabs to help them, believe it or not, to help them take and maintain power. All right? So if you get this book, Zionism in the Age of Dictators, this is a good introduction to this type of what's going on here. And this book here, A History of Zionism. Can you read that? A History of Zionism. I think everything is backwards, unfortunately. I got to do a YouTube thing next time. All right? Hang on. Oh. Yeah, but yeah. So definitely get this one, History of Zionism. This is so you can catch up. The problem we have now, fam, is nobody knows what the fuck is going on. You see all these things going on, but you can't. You got a juggler, those 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 balls in the air. All right, but they know where they're at. They timed them. They're able to move them. And you such like that's so quick with their hands, but you 9 balls going in the air on you. They're just gonna fall on top of your head, and that's the situation we're in because you're not prepared, because you don't have enough information to sort out the right from the wrong, the fact from the fiction, the mythology from the science. You can't sort it out. You have to read. You got to catch up. All right? Now, back to the Jewish people. They also have a network here in the United States. Now, this book here is called, very interesting book. It's called Our Crowd. Great Jewish Families of New York. So if you're in New York, you should definitely have this book. If you want to know about Jewish people in New York, go right to the top of the Jewish people and figure out what's going on. Now, if you ever heard of the Black Secret Society, Black what's that called? Postgraduate fraternity called Sigma Pi Phi, or the Boule, They also have a book. It's called Our Kind of People. Go read that. Because in Our Kind of People, you will learn how the Negroes who are in cahoots with the government, literally, they're in cahoots. Let me not say the government. They're in cahoots with these guys. Trilateralism. They're in cahoots with these guys. The media. They're in cahoots with these guys. Rockefeller. All right? Our Kind of People shows you how the light, bright, damn near white black folk, they have their own societies, fam. Not only secret societies, but they have their own cultural societies. And they have a way of trading themselves up. They have their way of distributing information. And they have a way of making sure that nobody fucks with their program. Or it interferes with what they're doing. Well, they try to anyway, but we're messing that up already, so that ain't working. It's called the Boule. Get Our Kind of People. Read. I couldn't find it. Read that book. That's a very important book. Yeah. Now, back to the Jewish people again. Do Jews control Hollywood? I don't know. Let's find out. This book is called An Empire of Their Own, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. Oh shit, look at that. They wrote a book about it already. Alright? They wrote a book about it already. This book which comes from, what year this book came out? Yeah, look at this shit. This book come out in 1988. This is 1988. So, don't ask me if Jews are in control of Hollywood. They done said they are. That's what y'all said. Right? So, in other words, we're talking about circles within circles. These wheels within wheels. These wheels within wheels. This, once again, peace. Thank you for pulling up, fam. I'm just trying to take a moment to celebrate the life of Baba Steve Koki. This would have been his birthday today. And it is his birth date. So we're going to take time out just to talk about the brother and learn. I'm just going over some of the things I learned from him and how he gave me a understanding. He expanded my consciousness, whereas I can see things. I can see these patterns. All right. I can see where this is going. All right. I can see the circles. I can see the wheels. I can see the tricks. All right. But you can see these things too easily because they ain't that smart. And like Dr. Africa told us long ago, they can do anything but change. They can't change. That requires melanin. Change comes from the melanin. You got to have that carbon, that real melanin, not the faux melanin. You got to have the EU melanin. Those carbon melanotropic peptides give you the power to change. That means change your reality. You can do that. You are the what's it was called? You can change. I forgot what they call them, alchemists. Yeah, you're the alchemist. Matter of fact, there's a book called The Alchemist. It's supposed to be one of these good reading books. But you're the alchemist. Your body's all alchemy. Everything you eat in this body has to be converted for your use. Anything you take in the body that is not converted for your use is literally a drug and toxic to you. All right? That means your body has to break down everything to make it suitable for its purpose. So you are an alchemist already. Huh? But yeah, what else I got? Yeah. Another thing, circles within circles. Let's go again. Temple and Lodge. Get that one. If you don't know about these Masons, Brotherhood. Now listen, now, you know that all your big Christian ministers are Masons. So how are you going to be a Mason and a Christian? How are you going to be a Luciferian and a Christian? Ask your ministers that stuff. All right? Ask them. Just a simple question. How are you going to be a Luciferian and in the Brotherhood? Where in the scale of the company? Now, this G is not that G. This is Homestead Grays. This is Negro baseball. This ain't that G. Just so you know. Somebody thought it was that G. Forget that. No, not the Brotherhood. All right? The brothers. Not the Brotherhood. All right? Those two, Temple Lodge and Brotherhood. Study those. Now, if you want to know what's going on in Africa, you're going to have to study Oppenheimer. Because the power in Africa is held by the Anglo-American establishment, run by, not Robert Oppenheimer, not the nuclear bomb guy, this Oppenheimer, him and he's the Oppenheimer family. They run Anglo-American establishment, Anglo-American corporation, the diamonds, the money, the resources of South Africa, Zaire, those areas down there are run by Anglo-American. Anglo-American. Check it out. Read this book. And if you want to know what's going on another level, Anthony Sampson, Black and Gold, that shit was powerful. This is about apartheid and money and revolutionaries. And Marxism, of course. Of course, most of those were Marxists. That's why they was doomed. They was doomed to fail. All right. So, anybody want to chime in on Steve Coakley, man? Anybody want to bear witness? Because I could talk for a long time. No? Y'all good? Hold on. I'm sorry, I didn't catch up. Hold on, fam. Peace, fam. Peace. Peace, fam. Peace. Now, this is also something that we studied, but that book called The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin, which explains the origin of the Federal Reserve and how the bankers conspired with the politicians to foist the Federal Reserve on the people in order to stop quote-unquote bank runs, when all they did was create more bank runs. They were designed to stop depression. All they did was create more depressions. They were designed to stabilize the currency. All they did was make the currency more unstable. All right? That's called The Creature from Jekyll Island. You got to read that book. Now, this is another book by him called G. Edward Griffin. And this is actually for the doctors in the house. Of course, this is about the world without cancer. This is about vitamin B17. This is the book that your boy was talking about. What's his name? This is what your boy was talking about. What's that boy? Yaki. Yeah, this is what he was talking about. He was talking about amygdalin, B17. This is where he got that information from, this shit. Alright? B17. So this old stuff. He wrote this. This is the world without cancer. Look, the Rockefeller Group. Yeah, this world without cancer. This is a reprint. I believe this came out in 19... Nah, this is a new copy. But this came out in the 60s too. Oh shit. So, fam. Peace. This ain't really for me to talk though, fam. Not really. This is not for me to talk. This is for me to give you the opportunity to speak and to bear witness. My problem is that a lot of us are scared. No, I can't say scared. We don't even know who people are. And we can't differentiate who's live from who's Memorex. You can't differentiate who's really working for you and who's really working for themselves. Because we haven't developed that ability to see through that veil. Right? I grew up a little different, so I know a lot of people. I come from I know a lot of really good people. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up with a whole lot of scammers and shit too. You know what I mean? But I can tell the difference. Because I grew up in this environment where I had to tell the difference. You had to know the difference in order to survive. So when I'm out here on the internet and I'm watching people move, I'm like, come on, phony, not real. I'm writing niggas off like left and right. Because they ain't got it in them. They could talk that talk, but they ain't got that spirit of fight in them, that proper spirit in them. They don't have that. So I want to take this time and let you know that my spirit is filled with that energy from Baba Steve. I'm not him, though, but I got his energy. There's a few brothers out here that got his energy. All right? Dr. Ali got his energy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all on this channel, y'all got this energy. Y'all got that energy. Y'all sure wouldn't have tuned in. I advertised that thing on purpose to see how many people will react to that. I got a fantastic reaction, but people don't show up. because there's a certain chill, there's a certain fear associated to recognizing Steve Coakley. There's a fear associated with that. Because with that comes responsibility for knowing what he said, understanding why he said it. That comes with responsibility of understanding that, look, I don't care whether you like him or not. I know he's good for me. People ain't cut out like that. A lot of people are all trying to fit in with everything and not shake. They won't even put a heart on a damn, we so cowardly. We won't even put a like on a post that you like because people might think that you agree with that. Like there's something wrong with you agreeing with the fuck you want to agree with. There's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to be able to agree with what you want to agree with. It. Don't be a punk. Right? Don't be such a punk. You can't even agree with what you want to agree with. What have they done to you, man? What have they made of you? You that spineless? That sniveling now? That's a shame. That's a shame. You need to stand up out of that. Alright? We gotta stand up out of that. Because that's not the survival instinct, bro. That's a capitulation instinct. That's a death instinct. If you don't stand for what you believe, then you have nothing. You have nothing. And why are you not standing? Because you're worrying about money? This made up stuff? Didn't I just show you? Get this book. The Federal Reserve, and you understand the fiat currency that you're dealing with? They just print up. You ever heard of quantitative easing? They flooded the place with so much money that it's worthless. Alright? Only thing you have that's worth anything to you is your character, your word. You're keeping your responsibility. You're standing up like a man and letting it be said like a man and standing on what you believe like a man and dealing with the consequence. That's all you got. Alright? Everybody talking about white supremacy. It's not about white supremacy. It's about black suppression. Or supplication, actually. It's black supplication. The white supremacist is not a problem. It's the black supplicator that's the problem. Don't be a supplicator. Alright? I'm not telling you to go shoot up the joint. I'm telling you to stand up on what you believe in. And stop supplicating all the time. That's what makes them supreme. Your submission, your supplication. You have the right to disagree. You have a right to say no. They talk about drafting people 18 to 26. So what? They can draft all they want. That don't mean you got to go. You can say you're not going. But are you willing to deal with the consequences of that? See? Being a man requires responsibility. Being a man requires taking responsible for your action. Being a man requires dealing with the consequences of your actions. That's what we learn. That's what we learn. The shit you value is worthless, man. Anything you can buy is not worth anything. If you can buy it, it's not worth anything, fam. Don't you get it? Don't you understand that, faction? The only things that are worth anything are the things that you can't buy. The love of your mate, the love of a woman, the love of your children. You can't buy that. Not for long. You can pay them off for a little bit, but that shit is not, that's not going to hold them. All right? So, I'm going to take this moment to give anybody wants to chime in, the opportunity to chime in. Because I want to hear from y'all too, because it ain't just about me. Because, I talk all damn day, fam. Peace. Anybody want to add in? Nobody got nothing positive to say about Steve Coakley. That's what you're trying to say? Nobody got nothing to say about my brother, your brother, who shared all this information with us. You have the Rockefeller. I have the Rockefeller file and none there Coakley. Yes, I do have them. Both by Gary Allen. Exactly. I have those books. In fact, you need to get on my Telegram channel. I probably got them on my Telegram channel. 25,000 year cycle on Telegram. You'll need to sign up on that channel because there you can download. I have the link in the. I'll put the link out. I'll post it up again. Oh, it's in my timeline. Because you can download this stuff from me. But like I said again, on my website, 25,000yearcycle.org, I have a free gift to everybody in honor of Steve Coakley's birthday. It's called A Special Message to Dr. K. Steve Coakley goes in on Maulana Karenga and exposing the conspiracy to say there's no conspiracy. Alright? So, pull up, catch that, because I'm going to be out. Now, mind you, hundreds of people literally like this shit, the idea of this. But you know, time, effort, energy, all those things. So I'm going to post it up. I'm going to post this thing out. Y'all can go over it at your leisure. If you got any questions, hit me up. DM me. Or ask the question right on live. We still got our health pro services going on. Heavy metal detox. Female cleansing. Fibroid prevention. Dealing with impotence for men. You want to get some strength. You want to get better blood flow. We got that. We got all that shit, bro. I really don't even talk about it because they have destroyed these Negroes, these phonies, these scammers have destroyed the health industry so badly, fam, with so much bullshit that it's almost a shame to talk about it. You know what I mean? Because they've destroyed it with misinformation, idolatry, you know what I'm saying? Lack of growth and development, lack of understanding of anatomy, physiology, let alone biochemistry. That's what we're dealing with. So, but we're going to double down. That's one more thing. Health class is starting up. I'm looking at June, the end of June, like the 30th. I think that's the 30th. Or the week after that. I'm going to post it's going to be a free health class. We're going back into restoring black health. We're going to do one class a month till Ramadan, which is going to, for us, is going to be in December. Indigenous Ramadan. Excuse me. This one. All right. Indigenous Ramadan in December. So we're doing once a month. All right. So we can ready. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull out, man. This is really for y'all, man. This is for us as a people to share and to give honor to our brother, respect to our brothers. That's what this is for. It's not really for me just to pontificate. I mean, I can do that, but it's not really for me to do that. All right? This is for us. And if you don't know Steve Coakley, once again, go to my website. I got a free download, A Special Message to Dr. K. Download that at 25,000yearcycle.org in honor of my brother Steve Coakley. It's going to be up there for the whole week. And you can download it for free. All you got to do is give me your email address, whatever. Get on my mailing list. All right? So go to 25,000yearcycle.org. A Special Message to Dr. K. It should be right there on the first page, one of the first items that you can buy. Anybody got any questions? What can I say about the ancestor? Yo, pull up. You got something to say? Pull up. All right. Steve Coakley, my former college and put me on them in 2009. Yeah, once I went on to YouTube on the bootleg, yes, I was talking back on it. Yes. Yes. So we understand that there is opposition to what we're trying to do. All right? There's opposition from the people who are getting paid by the ones that are oppressing or holding back. Well, the truth is this. Ain't nobody holding you back. The only thing holding black folk is black folk, man. All right? The only thing holding black folk is black folk. Yes. Europeans have put these traps in front of you for sure. But nobody's stopping you from reading. Nobody's stopping you from not liking dumb shit. Nobody's stopping you from not listening to Cardi B. Nobody's stopping you from those things. You're stopping you. All right? You are stopping you. Like I said, it's not white supremacy. It's black submission. It's not white supremacy right now. It's black submission. Get up. Stop submitting to nonsense. Stand up. Be a man. That's what we all been trying to tell you. That's what Baba Steve tried to tell you. Dr. Khaled, the Minister of America. And they all been telling you the same shit since forever here. Marcus Garvey. Noble Drew Ali, Booker T. Washington, my man, I can't remember his name, Martin Delaney, all right? David Walker, David Walker's appeal. Yo, this has been the same message throughout history. All right? So what message are you going to pass on? What legacy are you going to leave? You going to leave a legacy of money grubbing, doing everything for money and doing nothing to make the world better for your lineage? Because if you're just going after money, you ain't going to make the world better for your lineage. Of course, the Euros, they run all the money. And they pay everybody. So they ain't going to pay you to defeat them. Shit don't work like that. So it can't be about money. Because that shit come and go. What's it about then? What's this about then? If it ain't about money, what's it about for you? Fear? Fam. Yo, I'm going to pull out, man. I'm pull up. I'm glad. Peace. Peace, family. Peace. I'm thankful for everybody that came in. I wish more of y'all would have showed up. Because our brother deserves to have, if 800-900 people viewed my joint. Let me see how many people viewed this announcement. Okay. I got over 1,000 views on this thing.
Peace.
And 36 likes.
Tonight, 6 p.m. June 17th.
I got over 1,000 views.
I'm doing a special
36
live
likes.
in honor of Steve
So
Kofi.
those that showed up,
Steve Kofi
those are real ones.
Tonight,
Right?
6 p.m.
You're the real ones. But I'm gonna post. We gonna post up anyway. We can play it back. I'm gonna post it on the feed. Those that missed it can watch it. But I'm thankful for those that showed up, and I'm thankful to you. And I'm gonna end up. So you can go watch the game because I know you want to watch the game, bro. Thank you, brother. Dr. Pilon, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, God. It'd been better if y'all participated. It'd been better if y'all participated. If everybody has something to say. That shit would have been fire. But we're gonna get you next time. I'm going to start the health classes up. And, yo, my classes are participatory classes. You don't sit up in the corner and shut up. You got to participate in my class, my health class. We're going to have Zoom meetings. Everybody going to be on camera. And we're going to look in your eyes. We're going to ask you shit. And you're going to answer shit because that's how you learn. And that's how Steve taught us. Steve Kofi did not have no silent lectures. That shit, we did not learn like that. Motherfuckers called out, asked questions in the middle of the lecture. He answered shit, moved on, let people add on. Took away. That's how we learned. All right? It's totally unlike how people do this shit now. Everybody wants to lecture. I'm not here to lecture you. Though I could, but you're not my children like that. You're grown people. All right? We supposed to reason together and build on up. All right? So what I'm doing right now, I'm giving you the foundation that you can build on up from. So we can have these real conversations because we need everybody because we got no fucking think tanks, fam. All the black think tanks that I can find are either run by schools, universities, or Negroes. So, or financed by other white think tanks. Negroes financed by, like, come on, man. You ain't got nothing here. So this type of thinking that we do, this type of reasoning that we do, it's going to be it's our responsibility to do this. Nobody's going to do this for us. Right? We got to do this for us. So I'm going to be back. Of course, we got the health class. We're going to do the health classes in this month. First health class is going to be a free class. One in Zoom. Come ready to learn. You ain't going to, it's going to be like nothing you heard before. Because I'm changing. I'm learning constantly. So this health class I did 2 years ago, that shit ain't nothing compared to what I'm going to do next. And it's going to be the same information. Alright? That shit's going to be fire, fam. So we're going to pull up. We start the health class again. Because it's time to stop bullshitting. And start putting it on. My man Arrow's in the house. Peace to brother Arrow. My man pulled up. Appreciate you, Doc. Alright? But we gonna pull a genie out the hat, fam. Each one of you is gonna pull a genie out the hat. because there's more that you can do. There's more you have in you, and this stuff will help you bring it out, and it give you a working understanding of the mechanisms that you're living in, and you may have to fight against, or you might have to build something corresponding next to it to overtake it eventually. All right? But I'm finna pull out, man. I'm out of here, bro. I love y'all. Appreciate you. Long live Steve Copley. Baba Steve, we appreciate you, man. I keep you with me. Yo, all I listen to is Coakley. That's all I listen to right now. Easy and Coakley. So, I want y'all to do the same thing. All right, fam. Peace. Peace to the fam. Thanks for everybody who came out. Salute to Steve Coakley. Salute to his family. I know his son is out here. Appreciate his son, man. He's out there in Ghana. He's doing Think Tank in Ghana right now. He's an artist. Young brother look just like his daddy, man. Wish he'd have pulled up, because we really got respect for him too. All right, fam. 1. Forward. Dr. She's out.